And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics, and now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal life and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and also on 405 Media Radio Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Also, we're on the Pundit Press, PNN Talk Radio, and SHR Media Radio with the Conservative Syndicate every Monday and Friday from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google+. We're also on Twitter's Periscope, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com, and you can call into my show if you just want to comment or engage me in conversation about anything. Dial directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, on today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. On today's special segments, Sean LaFave will be here, and he's going to continue his series, Geared for Wellness. And Suzette Mailer is going to be here to present a case for an environment. This is Suzette's last day on our show. We're certainly looking forward to having Suzette with us. And you know what? She's been a tremendous asset to the show, and we're going to miss her, immensely while she's gone. In the meantime, I want you to stand by for news, but first I want you to know that 3:04 p.m. Pacific Time, currently 54 degrees and raining here in sunny Southern California at the heart of the Inland Empire. Well, you know what? Let's talk about news. Let's talk about the 10 things that you need to know for today. That's Tuesday, your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that will be talked about today and tomorrow. And first up, Obama planning to broaden the gun background checks. The initiative forms the centerpiece of a broader package of gun control measures that the president plans to take on his own in his final year of office. And what message the U.S. is sending Saudis and Iran? Well, the White House appeals for restraint by both nations after mobs attacked the Saudi embassy in Tehran following the execution of a prominent Shiite cleric. And no rush to retake Oregon Wildlife Refuge from armed activists. The cautious approach by federal officials could stem from the fact that no one has been hurt in the face-off and no one's being held hostage. Then, General Motors invests $500 million in LifeFit. That's L-Y-F-T. The automaker places the industry's biggest bet yet on the notion that using a device to hail a ride with or without a driver is the future of transportation. And who's touring for Hillary Clinton? Well, Bill Clinton makes his solo debut on behalf of his wife's campaign in New Hampshire. Well, gunmen on the loose after an attack in Tel Aviv. The deadly daytime shooting at a popular bar on a busy street has become among the most unsettling attacks in Israel in a 3-month wave of violence. And the U.S. sues Volkswagen over emissions cheating software. The legal action potentially exposes the German automaker to billions of dollars in penalties for clean air violations. And ex-South Carolina's cop is released on bond in a murder case. Michael Slager, charged with shooting an unarmed black driver running from a traffic stop, will remain under house arrest until his trial later this year. And American Idol, beginning its 15th and final season. During its run, the singing contest has made stars of Kelly Clarkson, Carrie Underwood, Jennifer Hudson, and others, while resurrecting the TV talent show. And then finally, which Super Bowl winning coach is stepping down? Well, the decision by Tom Coughlin to resign comes a day after his New York Giants completed their third straight losing season. Now, that's everything in a nutshell. Let's get to a little bit more in depth of what's going on in the news. You know, he says, it gets me mad. Obama acts alone on gun control. Tears streaking his cheeks, President Barack Obama launched a final year push today to tighten sales of firearms in the United States using his presidential powers in the absence of tougher gun restrictions that Congress has refused to pass. The president struck a combative tone as he came out with plans for expanded background checks and other modest measures that have drawn consternation from gun rights groups, which Obama accused of making Congress their hostage. Palpable, too, was Obama's extreme frustration at having made such little progress on gun control since the slaughter of 20 first graders in Connecticut confronted the nation more than 3 years ago. First graders, Obama said woefully, resting his chin on his hand and wiping away tears as he recalled the 2012 massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Every time I think about those kids, it gets me mad. Now, do not go away. We will talk a little bit about Obama's 10-point plan to keep guns from those who shouldn't have them marked in a concession by the president. He'll leave office without securing the new gun control laws that he repeatedly and desperately implored Congress to pass. But don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to talk about some more in-depth news, and we're going to start off with Hola El Nino, weeks of storms hitting and the dried-out California coast. Are we getting too much too soon? Well, I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And hey, I want to just interrupt the news for just a minute to do a shout out for a good friend of mine. We're talking about Stephen Hardaway. He's the owner of In-Home TV Computer Services. You know, he actually provides services for the entire Inland Empire. The guy does a fantastic job. He does what he says he's going to do. He's honest and he's got integrity. I just want to say, hey, Stephen, thank you very much. I really appreciate the service that you're doing. Stephen's actually working on my flat screen, and I thought it was going to be a fortune, but the guy's very reasonable. So I encourage all of you to think about In-Home TV Computer Service in Stephen Hardaway. You can reach him at area code 909-749-5606. Again, that number, 909-749-5606. And you know what? You could email him at fixit163@gmail.com. Yes, sir. Stephen Hardaway and In-Home TV Computer Service. Well, let's get back to the news. You know, hola, El Nino. Weeks of storms are hitting the dried out California, the state of California, I should actually say, and none any too soon. Californians who sharply reduced water use during their 4-year drought were warned against reverting to old habits today as the first of several storms spawned by a record tying El Nino began drenching the state. The series of storms lining up over the Pacific Ocean was welcome news in California despite their potential for causing flash floods and mudslides, but authorities cautioned that even the wettest of winters can't replenish depleted reservoirs and aquifers unless everyone keeps pitching in. California's water deficit is so deep that a steady parade of storms like these will be needed for years to come, said Mike Anderson, climatologist for the state's Department of Water Resources. We're at least on a good trajectory, he said. We've got to keep it going. Well, let's see what happens. Cross your fingers. We need the rain. We don't want it all at one time, but we certainly do need that rain. Well, let's talk about it. Obama's move on guns may have only a modest effect on violence. President Barack Obama's move to tighten controls on guns could curb the unregulated buying and selling of weapons over the internet and at gun shows, but the overall effect on violence in the United States could prove to be modest. It's not ever going to be difficult to get a firearm, just like it's not ever going to be difficult to get illegal drugs, said James Jacobs, a New York University law school professor. What makes us think that we can now create a regime that will make guns hard to obtain for someone who wants to obtain them? Well, the president used his executive authority today to clarify that anyone in the business of selling firearms must obtain a federal license and conduct background checks on prospective buyers regardless of where the sales take place. Currently, many private sellers online and at gun shows do not bother to get licenses, and weapon sales over the internet have become a booming business. The White House and others can't say how many transactions the step will block or how much bloodshed it may prevent. You know what? Only time is going to tell us those kinds of things. And time is something we don't really have it, but we can't do much about it, can we? No. Well, a man behind the armed Oregon band says he's on a mission from God. The man behind the armed occupation of a federal wildlife refuge comes from a Mormon family that has been challenging government authority for at least 2 decades. Amon Bunde, like his father in previous confrontations, says he is following directions from God and invokes his family's faith when explaining the anti-government movement that he's attempting to lead. 2 years ago, Cliven Bundy was at the center of an armed standoff with federal officials over grazing rights on government land. Federal officials backed away from seizing the Nevada ranchers' cattle, but the dispute remains unresolved, and the Bureau of Land Management says the family has not made payments toward a $1.1 million grazing fee and penalty bill. Now, Cliven Bundy's son has put himself in the spotlight, this time in Oregon, in a dispute over someone else's ranching operation. His armed group is pressing federal authorities to turn over government land to local control. Well, we'll see how far that gets. I don't think very far if you think about it. Well, you know what? The leader of the armed group wants a land transfer, then he'll go home. A leader of the small armed group that is occupying a remote national wildlife preserve in Oregon said today that they will go home when a plan is in place to turn over management of federal lands to the locals. Well, we'll see if that happens or if that's even true. I kind of have my doubts about it. How about this, though? Let's get off off of our shores and get overseas. Iraq must walk a fine line amid Iranian-Saudi tensions. While many Iraqi Shiites took to the streets in outrage over Saudi Arabia's execution of a prominent Shiite cleric, the country's prime minister has had to walk a more cautious line, trying to contain Iraq's own explosive sectarian tensions. The execution of Sheikh Nimr al-Nimr has inflamed the sectarian divide across the region. Shiite-led Iran has been the most vocal in its condemnation, and protesters stormed Saudi diplomatic missions in Iran over the weekend. That prompted Sunni-led Saudi Arabia to cut diplomatic relations with Iran, and the kingdom's allies have lined up behind it, either cutting or reducing their ties with Tehran. The government of Iraq, however, is straining to keep the peace amid the regional tumult. Iran is a key ally of the Shiite-led government in Baghdad, has helped it in the fight against the Islamic State, and supports powerful Shiite militias in the country. Now, do not go away. When we come back, I'm going to talk about the IRS loses. You're going to love this. It'll send hairs up and down your spine, chills up and down your spine, hairs up and down in the back of your neck. We're going to first talk about business deduction for family medical expenses. I'll tell you how to do that right after these brief messages. Please don't go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. And like I said before, this is going to send chills up and down your spine, the hair up on the back of your neck. But let's get right to it. Let's not talk about it anymore. The first case up that the IRS lost, business deduction for family medical expenses. Now listen to this. Ralph Fram was self-employed as the owner of a business with one employee, his wife. He had adopted an employee benefit plan providing medical insurance coverage for its employees and their families, including him as the spouse of an employee. The IRS objected. This is what their objection was. The business could deduct only the part of the premiums covering his wife's medical expenses, not his. He went to court for some justice. This is what the judge said. Such medical coverage is a common business expense and is deductible by self-employeds the same way it is by other businesses. So here's the point. Greater tax benefits, such as reduced self-employment tax, may result from a business expense deduction for medical insurance that from the normal deduction for it would do. So keep that in mind. Here's another case for you. The IRS lost. Penalties are lifted on the misvaluation of stock. Here's the case. When Hotels.com paid stock compensation to key employees, it put a high value on the shares for a large deduction, while the employees reported a lower value, reducing their taxable income. Now, a court upheld the lower value and the IRS imposed penalties on Hotels.com for overvaluing the stock and underpaying the tax as a result. They went to court. This is what the judge said. The fact that there was a dispute with the employees over the valuation did not mean that the company's valuation was unreasonable. It had followed the advice of outside experts when it filed its return, and failure to file an amended return cannot support a negligence penalty. So, the penalties are lifted. By the way, that negligence penalty is 50% of the tax owed. They got by with a good deal here. Aren't they glad they went to court? I'll give you one more. The IRS loses. Tax collection actions after bankruptcy are void. Let me tell you about it. A company went broke owing trust fund employment taxes and declared bankruptcy. Its owner declared personal bankruptcy. The IRS then sent her a Form 2751. That's proposed assessment of trust fund recovery penalty, which she actually signed, acknowledging that she had owed the tax. Now, using this, the IRS started collection and levy actions against her. She protested, went to court. Here's what the judge said. A declaration of bankruptcy automatically stays all IRS collection actions, and the fact that the IRS sent the form violated that stay. Moreover, the violation means that the form is void. The IRS can never act on it, rather than merely voidable or suspended during the bankruptcy. Now, that has got to make you feel great. It makes me feel great. It makes me feel terrific. Now, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things. Well, that's where we're at right now when we talk about inside the IRS. Okay, now this is not actually tax law or a tax court case that was lost, but these are precedents that the IRS has actually set down, and you can actually use these to your benefit when you're arguing with the IRS or fighting with the IRS. It's really a good way to go. They can't dispute what they've already put into play. Let's start off with the first one. Let's talk about expenses of attending a convention or seminar outside of North America. Well, they are generally disallowed according to Section 274H of the tax code, but the definition of North America has recently been changed under a revenue ruling. The U.S., its possessions, the trust territories of the Pacific Islands, and Canada and Mexico are all acceptable destinations. The Bahamas, Aruba, and the Netherlands Antilles have been added to the list. St. Lucia was dropped as of April 4th of 2007 because its government failed to enact legislation to exchange financial information with the United States. But take note, the Cayman Islands and the British Virgin Islands are not included on the list of acceptable destinations because those governments have limited the scope of financial information that may be exchanged with the United States. But the other places, you can actually do it. You can take that cruise and write it off. Give that some thought, folks. Yeah. How about this? How do you lose a computer? You ever think about that? I mean, how the heck do you lose a computer? Well, the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration has discussed that the IRS has failed to report to its office the loss of more than, get this, 75% of the IRS computers that went missing between January and June of last year. Now, according to the IRS, more than 47,000 laptop computers are assigned to employees. Now, many of the computers reported missing were lost because employees kept them in unlocked vehicles, left them on buses and trains, or checked them into airline baggage, never to see them again. How standards have dropped. You know, in the old days before computers, when I was in private practice, the rule was that if you lost a taxpayer's file, it would be grounds for dismissal. Everyone knew that you should never leave a file, even in your locked car, because if the car were stolen, the file would disappear. Not only that, every one of those IRS computers has access to all of your information, where you work, where you bank, your account numbers, your social security numbers, your kids' names, their dates of birth, their social security numbers. Can you imagine? It wouldn't be the first, and it's not going to be the last time the IRS compromises your personal information. Now, do not go away, because waiting in the wings is my good buddy Sean LaFave with his Geared for Wellness Corner. We'll be right back with Sean in a short 3-minute space. Don't go away. You don't want to miss Sean. He's always terrific.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:33 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 56 degrees and raining. Now I say raining. You know, the animals are lining up 2 by 2 outside here. It looks like it's flooding, not raining. But I can tell you that my good buddy Sean LaFay is waiting in the wings, and out where he's at in Laguna Beach, California, it's 57. And guess what? Yeah, it's raining. So let's get a proper introduction for Sean and get him in here.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean LaFave, in his Geared for Wellness Corner.
Hey, guy, didn't I just talk to you? It seems like I just talked to you. Hey, Sean, you out there? Sean, why am I having this kind of trouble? Sean? Well, you know what? He should be on the line with me. I don't know why he's not. Maybe what he needs to do is to hang up and call back, and that'll take care of the problem here. He's been on the line here for about 6 minutes. I don't know why it's having this issue, but you know what? I'm going to just switch the phone line here and see if that makes a difference. Yeah, let's see if that does it. That ought to help. So, Sean, call us back right away, and then we'll get you on the line here. And there we go. Hey, Sean, you with me? Sean.
You got me this time?
Okay, I got you this time. I'm hearing you.
I don't know whether it wasn't anything on my end. I wasn't muted, or I got my microphone today. I don't know.
I don't know what it is. You know what? If
I've never been a fan of technology anyway. So.
Yeah, if we didn't have technological problems, it wouldn't be a regular day, would it?
It would not be a regular day, that's for sure. You know what? It's not a regular day anyway because it's raining. I'm actually in Newport Beach instead of Laguna Beach, but it's the same either place. It is raining cats and dogs out here, and first we rarely get rain this much, but we're going to have, it's supposed to rain pretty much all week, but at least 3 consecutive days. Now, I moved back to California 2.5 years ago, and this is the first time I've seen 3 consecutive days of rain since I moved here. It just doesn't rain that much here, you know?
You know what?
Everything is.
I got up this morning and I looked outside and I thought, what the heck is that?
Everything's wet. That's weird.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I'm a native Californian, but one of the few native Californians born and raised in California, educated mostly in California. And, and I've seen a lot of rain in my time, but it's been so long, I forgot what it looked like.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. You know, when we first, of course, Victor moved out here with me. My son Victor moved out here with me, 2.5 years ago. I think it was 2 days after he graduated high school. We had the U-Haul hooked up to the Jeep and we were gone. And we were here for I don't know how many months. He finally goes, when's it going to rain? He goes, it never rains here. He goes, I miss the rain. He goes, I can't believe it. This just never rains at all. And I said, oh, welcome to the Southern California coast. It's just the way it is, you know. So I'm happy about it, though.
Oh,
but,
I am
we need the rain, but whatever.
Well, we need the rain badly. We don't want it all at one time, and we'd have to get rain like this for a number of years to replenish the aquifers. That was actually in the news today. Speaking of which, what do we have on the agenda for the Geared for Wellness Corner today?
Well, you know, I was thinking it was supposed to be our first time on the air, but we did yesterday, and we kind of played and we talked about, you know, politics and just kind of, you know, hair-raising stuff, fun stuff. Mm-hmm. But I thought, you know what, for the first of the year, maybe we'll talk about, as everyone's making their resolutions, we can talk a little bit about weight loss and really how permanent weight loss really happens. I think it'd be a good topic and something I really enjoy talking about. And I think a lot of people would be very interested in it.
I think so. You know, there's actually a science to it if you think about it, but it's not a secret science. It's really a common sense science, isn't it?
It is a common sense science, and that's exactly it. You know, years ago I lost a bunch of weight. I actually lost 35 pounds, and I did it in 6 weeks. And this is not me plugging anything for a commercial. This is just me talking. I lost 35 pounds in 6 weeks, and matter of fact, I look so different. I was at a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and this guy sits down next to me, and he introduces himself, and I said, yeah, I know who you are. I said, you sold my house to me a couple of years ago. And he looks at my name tag and looks back up at me and looks down at my name tag. He goes, Sean? So my gosh, you don't even recognize this. Yeah, I know. I lost a bunch of weight. I used to have a fat face, and I was lean, and it was amazing. But people would ask me time and time again. They go, Sean, how'd you lose all that weight? You look so fantastic. You know, and of course, it's great to get all the compliments. People would go, what did you do? How'd you lose the weight? And I would say, the way I did it was I cut out all grains and I cut out all sugars and I stopped eating processed foods and I totally stayed away from anything that could remotely be called junk food.
Okay, so stop there for just 1 second, because the only thing that really confuses me, I understand the sugars and I remember, you know, and all that kind of stuff, but the grains, you know, we were all brought up to believe that those grains were good for your digestion and kind of help clean you out, and that's really a fallacy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's there's some truth to it. It was true maybe 150 years ago, but nowadays the problem with the grains in general is corn is very pro-inflammatory, and it's almost all GMO here in this country now. So there's a big problem with that. But it's also really highly refined. Almost all the grains that you get are highly refined. If you could get, you know, even the wheat that we use, it's not GMO, but it's a hybrid. And so it's grown a little bit different. The protein structure is a little bit different. The original two grains that you know, if you're European descent, that your ancestors lived on were Eichhorn and Eckhart or something like that. I can't remember what the Eichhorn and Eckert or something like that. I can't remember something like that. Anyway, there's two main grains that people use. Well, they took and they hybrid those to make them grow faster and to make them grow taller and to yield better results, so that you get more crops in a shorter amount of time. And that really changed the way our body processes those wheats and those strains of wheat. And another problem with it too, and this is a bigger problem in my opinion, is everything is so heavily sprayed with pesticides nowadays that you're ingesting that. And so I think a lot of people who have, you know, gluten sensitivity issues, it's not really that they have gluten sensitivity. They probably do to the modern day version of wheat. But if they could go back and eat, you know, the original strands of, you know, they call them the ancient grains. Mm-hmm. If they could eat those and they were processed properly and they weren't sprayed with pesticides, those people would be fine. Matter of fact, when I go to Europe, I can eat all the bread I want and I feel fantastic. I come to the United States and I eat the bread that we have here, even stuff that's, you know, made fresh. I'm not talking, you know, like Wonder Bread. That stuff's disgusting. It shouldn't even be called bread. Mm-hmm. But, you know, the bread in Europe I eat, I feel great. The bread here in the United States I eat, and it just weighs me down. I can feel it in my gut. And it has a lot to do with the way it's processed. And so, you know, a lot of people feel like they have gluten sensitivity or issues, but the problem is they, you know, it's really the way it's processed.
So once again, we can thank Monsanto for ruining things that we used to enjoy.
Oh, absolutely, we can thank Monsanto for that, and it's really a travesty, and it's terrible that a company like that was given complete and 100% immunity from any type of prosecution. In fact, they're coming out right now. Matter of fact, glyphosate here in California is going to be declared a carcinogen, and unfortunately, Obama 2 years ago gave them complete immunity from any type of prosecution if anything associated with their chemicals and their GMO crops is determined to be harmful to the public. Obama gave them protection against prosecution for that.
So let me ask you this, and you may not know the answer, and I don't know the answer. I suppose I could look it up, but I'm guessing that a new president that would recognize the horrible result of such an immunity could reverse that, or is that locked in forever?
I don't know if it's because I don't think it was an executive order. I can't remember how that got passed, so I don't know if it can be repealed or not. It was, and I can't remember. It was something like bill. I think it was an actual bill that went through Congress.
Okay, so it went through Congress, and the president signed off on it, but the Congress is the one that created the bill.
Yeah, it was when we had. I think it was before the Republicans controlled the Congress. Mm-hmm. And I'm not quite sure, but I think it was. It was at least 2 years ago anyway. But yeah, whether it can be reversed or not, I think that any bill could possibly be reversed. But I don't know if that's something that's ever going to happen. But
well, yeah, but a lot easier if it could be done by presidential order as opposed to an act of Congress. Because now we have a lackluster do nothing Congress, totally non-functional. They're not going to get anything done.
Yep. As much as I hate what Obama's doing right now, I don't want to get on politics. As much as I hate what Obama's doing right now with the whole gun thing, I honestly almost don't even blame him, because you're right, Congress just won't act to do anything anymore these days. It's terrible. But anyway, back to grains. So the reason why I gave up grains are not something that I think people need to give up permanently. If you're trying to lose weight, it's a good idea. Because what happens is because they're processed, they convert into sugar in your body, and you really want to reduce the amount of sugar.
The grains do?
Oh yeah.
See, I had this absolutely wrong. I always thought that the grains created roughage that pushed all the bad stuff through your bowels and your system and got rid of it.
Yeah, if you can get whole grains that's not processed, not bleached, not stripped of all the germ and all of the fiber and everything, then you're fine. But a piece of what they call wheat toast, that you buy, at the grocery aisle that's sitting on the shelf that will last for weeks and weeks and weeks because it's been so processed, those two slices or slice of whatever, that slice of toast will metabolize in your body faster than table sugar.
Wow. Well, Sean, we've got 20 seconds for you to give us a cliffhanger to bring us back. We've got to go for a commercial break.
Okay, well, what we're going to talk about when we come back, and this is really where I wanted to go with this anyway, is we're going to talk about the hormone leptin. Leptin is the hormone that tells your body to burn fat, and there's a reason why some people don't have the ability to utilize leptin, and I'm going to talk about how you can make that happen.
Well, are we also going to talk about ketones? Because, there's an awful lot of, diets that deal with this, no-carb stuff that creates ketones. Are we going to talk a little bit about that, too?
We can talk a little bit about, going into the state of ketosis. We can talk a little bit about that, sure.
Okay, we'll be right back with our own Sean LaFave and his Dude for Wellness Corner. Don't go away. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back, folks.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Sean LaFave in his Geared for Wellness corner. We're talking about weight loss, and we're talking about the facts and the fallacies. Hey, Sean, you got the microphone.
All right. So obviously everyone, when they say, I'm going to lose weight, obviously what they mean is I really want to burn more fat. I want to lose fat. Nobody wants to lose muscle. And the issue at hand when people start to go on a diet, a lot of people go in there very confused. Maybe they sign up for Jenny Craig, they go to Weight Watchers, whatever the case might be. And a lot of those things, they work in the short run, but really they're not a good long run solution to true weight loss. And really the key behind weight loss is not even that you want to lose weight, it's how you lose weight and how you keep it off. And that's the problem. There's a lot of people who lose the weight and then it'll come back, later on this year, maybe by the next holiday season, they've gained it all back and sometimes even more. And so, the thing is to understand how is this cycle working and what's going on with it. And and there's a thing to remember that your body has 2 methods of giving itself energy. One, it can burn sugar, which, of course, you just eat sugar in the form of any type of carbohydrate, really. And matter of fact, even if you cut all carbohydrates out of your diet and you're eating a large amount of protein. Let's say people, they do this Atkins or whatever, and they don't really understand what they're doing, and they're eating tons of meat. Well, your body can actually take meat and convert it into sugar. It can break it down and convert it into sugar. In fact, if you look at like pictures from places like Auschwitz, where these guys are all just emaciated and they have no muscle left, it's because the body has actually taken their own muscle, broken it down into sugar, and used it for energy so that they can continue to exist. It's actually a form of internal cannibalism, if you will.
Wow.
So the body really doesn't like eating its own muscle up. It's really the body always looks at the best possible source available to it to survive. And so you've got the 2 sugar burning. I'm going to come back to that in a second. The other way to burn energy is to burn fat. And most of us have an abundant amount of energy sources available right under our own skin.
Well, that was a nice way of saying it, wasn't it?
Yep. we're all big old power plants walking around.
You're nicknaming everybody Chubs.
Exactly. But in order for your body, now we all know the hormone insulin. That's what your body needs to burn sugar. It produces insulin, and the body burns sugar. Well, there's also a hormone that tells the body to burn fat, and that hormone is called leptin. Now, leptin was discovered, I believe, in the early 90s, and so it's a fairly new discovery that this leptin exists. And matter of fact, when they discovered it, they thought, oh my gosh, holy grail of weight loss right here is this leptin hormone. If we can figure out how to put this stuff in a jar or in a needle or something, everyone will be able to lose weight with no problem, right? And of course, just like anything else in this world, if you want to give somebody something, tell them they need it, you need to show them that their body is deficient. So someone came up with a test to test your leptin levels in your body. Just like we can test testosterone and we can test, insulin, and we can test all these different things in our body, all these hormones. They figured out a way to test for leptin. And here's what they found out. People who were, or I should say the correlation was the more obese a person was, the higher their leptin levels were. And that kind of turned everything upside down, because they went, wait a minute, if this leptin hormone is responsible for burning fat, really, really fat people should have no leptin in their body. What's going on? And really skinny people should have a ton of it. But they found out the exact opposite was true. Well, what they had to finally figure out was, in your hypothalamus, you have your leptin receptors, and the leptin receptors, when you get a chronic state of inflammation, you're loaded up with toxicity or whatever the case might be, gummed up with, your cells are messed up with artificial oils, or these hydrogenated oils or some trans fats, whatever. It blunts those receptors, and so now your body will produce leptin when it says it's time to burn fat, but the leptin receptors can't hear leptin anymore. It's just like a person who becomes insulin resistant. You can also become leptin resistant. And now all of a sudden your body can't utilize the leptin that's available to it, and so it can't burn that fat. And now it doesn't have fat to burn for energy, and so the only thing left is to burn sugar. And what like I said, the body is super resourceful. It doesn't want to break down muscle tissue and burn it, because that's not the best thing to do for the survival of our species. So what your body will do is it will give you these insane cravings to go out and get carbohydrates. Anytime someone tells me that they can't go a day without eating carbohydrates, I can guarantee you that their leptin receptors are fried. And those are the people that will tell you that they'll go through the midday, their energy will drop if they don't eat, or they'll get irritable, or they'll have these. And the thing is, these cravings, your body's smart. It's gonna tell you to do exactly what it wants you to do, and you can't fight. There's no way to overpower these cravings. They're there, and your body's not going to shut them off.
Well, when you say those receptors are fried, can we unfry them? Can we reconstitute them?
And we can. And so what you do to fix them is you've got to unfortunately do the one thing that is going to be one of the toughest things to do, and that is you've got to stop taking in all those things that convert to sugar. Because what happens is, now that you're eating carbohydrates that are refined, people who can't burn fat for energy, they want bread, they want pasta, they want corn chips, they want anything that can be quickly converted into sugar for energy. And so what happens now is that puts you in a state of pro-inflammation. You're now inflammatory internally at the cell level, and that inflammation process releases a thing called a cytokine response. And cytokines help build cells, they help break down cells, they help rebuild them and tear them down and do all kinds of things. But when you get an overactive cytokine response, what it does is that's what destroys those leptin receptors. And so now you've got to reduce the inflammation in the body, and taking an ibuprofen isn't going to do it. You've got to stop the things that are causing the inflammation, and that's removing toxins from the body, and it's removing sugars from the body, and stopping the grains, especially corn, which is super inflammatory just in general, even if it's not GMO. So you've got to remove those things from the body, let the body heal. And when I put someone on a diet, I tell them no sugars, no grains, moderate amount of protein, because like I said, your body can take meats, protein, and convert it into sugar. And
you got to take a breath, buddy. We got 30 seconds, so you got to hang it up and get it.
You know, we're going to have. I had a feeling this was going to happen. We're going to finish this up on Thursday. We may not even have another. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how this diet works. Thursday, when we come back, we're going to have a full hour so that I can ramble on. I'm going to talk about how this diet works and what exactly happens when you reverse that inflammation and you heal those leptin receptors, and your body can now start burning fat for energy. So we'll pick it back up on Thursday, since I kind of ran out of time today.
All right, that sounds good. This was actually really, really interesting. So doing it again on Thursday makes a lot of sense. Sean, as usual, fascinating subject. Everybody's interested in that, especially now after the holidays. So we'll look forward to talking to you for a full hour on Thursday for the Geared for Wellness Corner with Sean LaFave. Hey, Sean, thanks, buddy. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, Robert.
All right. Well, and we're going to be right back after these brief commercials with our own Suzette Mailer in her. She's going to be, I'm sure, talking about the environment. This is her last show with us today, so hopefully it'll be an interesting one. We may just talk to each other about our experiences. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these brief messages with Suzette Mailer.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, waiting in the wings is our own Suzette Mailer. And you know what? I'm just really sad because today is going to be the last broadcast with Suzette. I'm really going to miss her. She's been a tremendous asset to Robert Cardoza Live. She's been with us for, I want to say a couple of years, but probably, she's contributed in so many ways, not only to her own segments, but to our segments and everything else. So I want you to welcome aboard our own Suzette Mailer. Hey, Suzette, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Robert.
It's good.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's good to have you here, and I don't know what you got planned for today. I don't know if you just want to reminisce or if you got something on your agenda.
Well, I do have something on my agenda, and it's probably something you know quite a bit about, and that's mass marketing. But I want to let's talk about the tool of mass marketing to invent and distribute products and services that help the environment.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Now, I know you worked for L'Oreal.
I hope you bit your tongue when you said that.
Estee Lauder, who did you work for?
Revlon.
Revlon, that's right, Revlon. And in fact, I think you are Mr. Mass Market, aren't you? Didn't you?
I did a lot of that kind of stuff. I know a lot about mass marketing and merchandising. I've got that pretty much in my bloodstream.
You do, and I believe I have it as well. Although I'd never worked for Revlon, I manufactured and imported containers of goods for other companies, and I love mass marketing. It's very exciting. You can make a lot of money in it, and we're going to talk about that, about making that kind of money, but instead of manufacturing useless goods, why not? I'm an inventor myself. I have a patent, and I could. I'm not manufacturing it because I don't think it's, helps the earth in any way. But I have another idea. It's a service. For an example, let me go over to this page here. Hold on. So it's a sustainable closed loop system. Where it's a home farm, and it's taking gardeners. We have a lot of Hispanic gardeners and a lot of lawns that are dying, and there's nothing to mow. It's just kicking up dirt, and they need to be reinvented. So I have this idea to train them to install closed loop sustainable home gardens. So they would come in and build a raised vegetable bed. Contract a plumber to install gray water. So that means that bath water and, kitchen sink water would drain into this tank, and then it would irrigate the beds. And then they would install mulch bins, and then they can maintain all that for the homeowner.
So let me ask you, Suzette. If you're using bath water and sink and kitchen water and that kind of stuff, doesn't the soap hurt the growth of those vegetables and things?
Well, now in what little research I've done on this, it's just this is just serving as an example of being inventive, but you wouldn't use it on root vegetables. You would toggle between your gray water and fresh water because you don't want it to become too acidic.
Yeah.
So you would toggle between the two, and you might change your soap. Of course, you wouldn't use Tide. You'd probably you wouldn't use bleach.
How about Ivory Snow? It's 99 and 9/10%.
I don't know. Yeah, remember Ivory Snow? Yeah. So there's some changes that would need to be made, but it's a home farm, a micro home farm that gardeners can install for all their customers, and if that could spread from gardener to gardener, we could really change the world, change our society.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, that's just an idea. And it's kind of like supplies. You would open a market of suppliers, people to supply the wood, people to supply the great tanks and the irrigation system, the expertise, the sales.
Mm-hmm.
So the marketing, it just opens up.
So you make it a gentleman's farm. That's really a think tank for all your neighbors to efficiently use their land or the land that's around them or non-used land to be productive, right?
Right, and I'm at the beach. I have a very small lot, but I know that I have enough for 2 vegetable bins in the front of my house. It would get enough sun.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people with more land, or they've got, south-facing yards, and they would get sun all day. So anyway, that's just an example, but let me go back to my main subject here. See, Robert, I believe there is a budding multi-million-dollar industry for sustainable products and services, and it's waiting to be realized. And, necessity is the mother of invention, and that is how many products are born. And if you can strike mass marketing gold, you can be an instant millionaire. And I know you and I have been a part of that world of introducing products with no utils for the sake of making money and with little regard for its environmental impact.
Oh, right.
So, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
you're absolutely right. Because you know what? When you get into business for one reason and one reason only, to make a profit generally, and not necessarily to benefit mankind, but to benefit the profit line for your shareholders or yourself or for your sole proprietorship. And you're not really interested in anything other than that. You're talking about something totally different.
I am, and I'm not. But I just think that, if you're scratching your head for an idea, go towards the environment, and you will make up a lot of money, because that again is an industry that's been slow to spark, but I think it's going to take off. And more businesses have a social conscience, and people aren't doing business with businesses that do not that lack a social conscience, right? They would rather be with companies that with a conscience, and they're doing good, and then you feel like you're doing.
Well, having said that, because it just and it's kind of off the wall, but we're talking about foodstuffs, we're talking about those kind of things. What do you think then is the cause that of companies like these health food stores and the I can't think of a name. I'm kind of went blank here, but the ones that they're going out of business, and it's because they have organic foods only, and they have good healthy foods, but they're not sustaining their businesses. It would almost have to say that the majority of people are not willing to pay the additional price.
Wait a minute. Surely you're not talking about Fresh and Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they're not organic.
Oh, okay.
They've got 1 foot in each camp. I think it was a lot of junk food. Whole Foods is, I had described this before. You walk into Whole Foods and you can survey the whole floor, mm-hmm. and you can see locally farm grown vegetables, fruit and vegetables, and then you've got your whole body section. I call that my pharmacy. Mm-hmm. And I know that stuff is good for the earth when it's returned to the earth. For the most part, it's good. And then, pre-prepared foods. And those foods come from the other side. That food may be starting to age, and they cook it and then they sell it. And it's a very healthy system. And again, you walk into, CVS. I know they don't sell food. And you can just see, you see drugs that, if it's, you urinate it and pour it down the sink, it's not good for the ocean, and it's not good for us. It can cause cancer. It's a very sick system in CVS. The very products that they sell to, remedy aches and pains, actually becomes toxins in the body, and it probably does contribute to illness. And then more drugs are sold and to try and cure it, and it doesn't. It kind of perpetuates kind of an ill.
System. So are you? Maybe I've got it wrong. I didn't realize it, but maybe. What are you saying, that local farmers are who provides the fruit and vegetables for the company Whole Foods?
They do. They buy from local farmers.
Okay, so they don't grow their own and put it in there. They actually buy from local farmers. I didn't know that. Yeah.
So. So anyway, getting back to my point here, again, consumers right now, they have an appetite for useless, unnecessary gadgetry. I mean, I'm always seeing more plastic gadgetry and useless clothing and coming out, and I just shake my head, and I just can't wait till, students come out of college, and they're being introduced to, many of the, where am I? The different disciplines in the colleges, these kids are being introduced to environmentalism. Mm-hmm. And so, with that mindset, they enter society, they take jobs, and they have a social conscience of some kind, and hopefully those people will invent useful products, that are good for the earth, and the materials used are sustainable or can be recycled, and a lot of the disciplines are being introduced to a concept called closed systems. So, let's say you buy some plastic, you manufacture this good. At the end of its life, it's recycled, and instead of buying more plastic, this industry will buy back that plastic and recreate, and it just keeps cycling through. It's a closed system. It's kind of like the home farm I introduced. That's somewhat of a closed system. You grow your vegetables, it goes into the mulch bin, it feeds the plant beds, the people eat it, and they send the scraps back into the mulch. You see, and then it grows again. So that's a closed system. Mm. And
it just sort of, it's like so what you're saying is when you're talking about this endless loop, you create these healthy foods, and what's left goes back into the ground so that it can create more healthy food.
Yes, well said. So I look for sustainable products can work through the same mass marketing machine, don't you think, Robert?
Yes. You know what? Absolutely. I sometimes think that what happened, I didn't understand that Fresh and Easy was not the same thing as a Whole Foods place.
Not at all.
So I think probably the name of the place was misleading if you think about it based on your knowledge, right? And so people would go there. So now I don't feel so bad that they're out of business. I think that they perpetrated a fraud on the general public, thinking that they had Fresh and Easy meant it was good stuff, which is not the case.
Well, I mean, they did sell some organic products, mm-hmm. but generally, no. You could get. I didn't find Fresh and Easy very useful for my home.
How about an outfit like Sprouts? Are you familiar with Sprouts? Are they any different?
I am, and Sprouts is good, and they're very successful, but they are not entirely organic as well. Yeah.
Now, one of the things, just out of convenience, because we shop, at our home, we have a Ralph's grocery store, not just really close, and so we shop at Ralph's a lot. But they do have, or at least it's labeled that way, when you get into their produce area and their vegetable area, they have signs up there that say organic. Are they lying? Or are they telling the truth? I mean, they have another section that's not. But
yeah, I've seen it. It's a small organic section, and I've seen the organics there, and it just doesn't look fresh. It looks like it's been shipped from afar, and not locally grown farmers. I never trusted the organics from those major chains. It just doesn't look fresh.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So you know what? And I think it's going to come down to, if you care about your body and you care about your environment, you're going to get what you pay for, right?
Right. But I think more and more people are moving over to organic. I've seen organic at Costco. I was so surprised. It was a few years ago. You could buy a box of lettuce, albeit unfortunately in a clear box. Mm-hmm. But you can get organics at Ralph's, and I think more and more people are going to demand it. I think we had a setback in the food industry this week because beef importers don't have to label where the beef came from.
Yeah.
And so that's really sad. I mean, I'm wondering, why wouldn't people want to know if something is GMO or where the meat is from.
Well,
Why are we voting this out?
Let me ask you this, Suzette. The fact that it's organic, does it mean that it doesn't have as long a shelf life too?
Well, it could mean that. It depends on what the product is, but
well, if you're talking about lettuce or you're talking about fruits,
yeah, I don't think so, but I think it'll have a longer shelf life at Whole Foods because that's from a farm, so it's not picked while it's
it hasn't been sitting in a warehouse for a month before it got to you,
and trucked across, and it hasn't lost the time with transportation. So I described this mass marketing machine this way. I have benefited from this. I used to work in the fashion industry in Los Angeles, and I was always inventing things and manufacturing goods and dreaming up ideas and copycatting. But I know that for a few pennies per piece markup on 1 million plastic gadgets or 1 million, items, you plug that into the mass marketing machine, and it does make fast and exciting money for the inventor, the patent attorney, the manufacturer, the printer, the marketing company, the distributors, and the retailers, right? Everybody makes some money off that. So again, instead of useless ideas, why not, sustainable products and services
that really make that you know what I was going to say, that really makes sense. It really makes common sense is what it does. So listen, we got about a minute and a half, not quite, before we have to go on a commercial break. You want to leave us with a little teaser to come back with?
Well, no. How's that? I think that, if anybody's listening, if you're a grandparent or a parent of a student, these are ideas that you can convey that will mean all the world to them, because when you graduate, you're facing typical companies right now in boring jobs that are for companies that are, again, they're making useless products and selling useless services and carpet cleaning or whatever. Why not direct them towards something so meaningful and good for the earth?
Well, you know what, and that's a good place to stop. And you're absolutely right. And you know what, I'm like you, but only I'm more hopeful. I happen to know we do have some people listening, and we'll be right back with them after this commercial message with our own Suzette Mailer. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Suzette Mailer, and we're talking about making your foodstuffs kind of do a full circle, a never-ending circle of things, so that when what you don't eat goes back in the ground and it comes back to make you a more healthy foodstuff. So, Suzette, you got the microphone.
Actually, what we're talking, if that's just an analogy for using the concept of mass marketing to make your millions. Only instead of selling useless gadgetry, why not create products and services that are good for the earth, using materials that can compost or can be recycled, and services to maybe prevent plastic from going down storm drains and going into the ocean, or a service where you contract with a city. That's what we'll talk about next. Let's come up with some ideas for people, just to give them an idea of what kind of products and services that are sustainable and good for the earth. And so I see plastic and trash, Robert, every 2 feet in the gutters, and the city's not picking it up. Or I see it all over, the parking lots at big box stores. Those guys are making a lot of money. I don't know why they can't get out there and clean that up.
I'm surprised that the cities, most of the cities that I'm aware of, they actually have street sweepers. They go through the residential areas and the commercial areas on a regular basis to clean all that stuff up, and then it winds up in a landfill. I'm surprised that that's not happening out where you're talking about.
Yeah, well, we do get street sweeping once a week, but it's not enough. It really isn't. And today, the rain, is cleaning everything up, and I see it going down the storm drains. We have our gutters are getting filled, and that's how we Americans are cleaning our streets, and it's such an injustice. It's a horrible thing to do, and environmental marketing. That's
well, what? This is a bigger problem. It's not that we don't clean our streets often enough, because I think once a week is probably enough when you think about it. The problem isn't with the street sweeping and the frequency of it. The problem is with the citizenry that puts that trash down there to start with.
Okay, that we can't do. That's all right. That's the point I was going to make. Environmental marketing is a really interesting business. You can take your marketing company and pivot it towards environmental and try to get contracts with maybe a city to launch an awareness program. And if you're from Revlon, you know well how this could work. The psychographics of the public and how to reach them to change their behaviors. Do you think it's possible?
Well, I know it's possible, but generally when you're talking about the majority of the general public, there needs to be an incentive created to make that happen, whether that be a tax credit of some kind. You know, out where I live, I'm sure where you live too, the cities are promoting recycling and doing all those things. I must have 6 barrels here at my house, one for greenery, one for trash, one for bottles.
Oh, that's great.
You know, and so, and a different truck picks up each one of those things. And so they encourage you to do that. Now, they don't pay me for doing it, but they expect us to separate it. But they do provide the trash receptacles, big, huge barrels for those purposes, and they're different colors depending on what goes in them. And so if we're going to expect the citizenry to support this, we have to give them some kind of an incentive of it and make it easy for them.
Yeah.
And maybe the disincentive in it is if you do not do this, if you do have trash in front of your plastics and things that are being spewed, and you're not taking care of your environment around your own residences, you get fined, or the city
I agree.
Or the city comes in and cleans it up and sends you a bill.
Yeah, and may I interject something in that scenario? And that is, they can take that money from the fines and pay and outsource a company to pick up the trash or pick up after the people. And I think that these big box stores with litter all over their parking lot should be fined. They should get a warning and then fined, and then take that money from the fines and outsource it to companies that will pick it up. But they may street sweep they may sweep their parking lot, but they're not dealing with their debris that blows into the gutters. And so, that's another business. So there are all kinds of services that to prevent plastic and trash from going down the storm drains. Reinventing different kinds of storm drain covers. And then there's another business to install them. And then there's another business to clean up the storm drains. There's lots of ideas. And here's an interesting one. And it comes to mind. We went to we visited University of Michigan over the Christmas break. My husband went to school there. He has an electrical engineering degree from U of M, and we visited their. I don't know. I'm just going to say ship design. Naval Engineering Department. Wow, was that fascinating! I'll just take you on a little detour here, but they have this very long pool, and maybe it's only 8 feet wide and maybe about 40 feet long, and they build these little model ships, and they take them up and down, and they have computers that probably study displacement and speed and all that. It was very fascinating, but. The schools, the MITs and the University of Michigan and Berkeley, they all have naval engineering. But the ships that are out in the port here, they're stacking containers up high, and the containers have interlocks, but they're not strong enough. And from what I learned from one of the longshoremen is that these ships go out, and when they run into weather, Robert, maybe about the top few layers of containers fall off the ships, as the ships teeter back and forth. So an invention there is stronger locks so that those containers stay on. And just think of all the containers out there, and how much money that an inventor can make.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's out there for the taking. It just takes some imagination. Again, necessity is the mother of invention.
Well, you would think that when they stack these containers that they'd have some interlocking system that could be made secure, or at least band them down, for Pete's sake. I know there's heavy stuff in it, but you know what? It's very disappointing to hear that if the ship is in rough seas and the ship is rocking, that these containers can actually be lost overboard and just sit there polluting the sea. And not only does it pollute the sea, but it's a danger to ocean traffic.
Absolutely. Well, those containers are designed to only float for 24 hours, and then they sink, they rust, and whatever's inside, of course, is released. And so, that's another thing that the naval engineers can design is a way to track them, so that maybe these containers float beneath, will clear the hull of a ship, and it'll stay down there. And maybe, Lloyd's of London, the insurance company, can work in partnership with this new business that has a ship, and will go relocate these containers, because these containers get insured, and sometimes they have high ticket items in them, and people don't want it lost, so they would be willing to pay the insurance for cargo recovery. There's another business.
Yeah, it
just needs to be developed, and with all the satellites we have, maybe the satellites can be used to find these containers that maybe have a black box built into them now, or so. It's all very interesting. It's a lot of fun to think about the possibilities, and I think we're headed in the right direction. And people are slow to react. They're slow to pick up their trash, but I think it will happen. Unfortunately, I was reading about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and that's located between the Pacific, or the West Coast and Hawaii, and it's now 1.4 million square miles of trash, and or the equivalent of 5 times the size of Texas. But
you talk about a depressing stat. That's got to be it.
Yeah, it is. But I think that as society moves towards environmentalism, in marketing, in accounting, in all the professions, those professions for traditional companies, for products and services, can pivot over to more of an environmental, meaning. I think that the world can change. It'll start heading the right direction. I'm very hopeful about that. And plus, in the universities, it's being taught to the kids. In the elementary schools and high schools, it's being taught to the kids. More and more schools are adopting it, and it's in more curriculum and so. There goes my peach impediment.
Well, but isn't that where it should start? Shouldn't it start with young kids being raised to respect the environment and to make that a way of life, as opposed to retraining them? Start them off that way in schools and at home, and then as they become young adults and later, it's kind of built into them, and that's the way they want it to be.
I truly believe that is what's happening, Robert.
Don't we owe future generations a pristine world to live in? I think we do.
We do, and I think it's happening. I mean, Annalisa has been introduced to that all through school. She's in 9th grade now, and her school does have the high school has a marine science program, very strong marine science program, and she's interested in that. So, as are a lot of kids, and so. Yeah, you're right. It'll take time to turn the world around, but you're right. I don't know who's littering right now and why they're doing it, but what generation is doing that?
Well,
but,
you know what? It wasn't that long ago that you and your family were up. I think it was Yosemite, or might have been Sequoia, somewhere around there. You were enjoying the serenity of your surroundings, and the car in front of you was littering, throwing stuff right out the window.
He was smoking.
Yeah, so that's even worse. To set the whole place on fire.
Smoking. We're driving by a grove of trees that were burned down, and each passenger has an arm out flicking cigarettes at Yosemite during the summer. Unbelievable.
It's just sickening. And you would hope which was not the case, because I know you reported it and nothing was done about it. And the truth is you would hope that the officials would have taken strong action to stop that, because that's what it's going to take. When people find out, hey, you're going to be punished, and you're going to be punished severely for doing these kinds of things to our serene world, especially the places that we're trying so desperately to preserve. You know what? Shame on you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think they did do something. An all points bulletin went out to all the national parks that people had to smoke in their cars now. People are not allowed to smoke outside their cars. So, something good did come of that. But yeah.
Well, we've got 45 seconds of our own Suzette Mailer left, and I want to take some time to tell you how much I appreciate all the things that you've done, the sacrifices you've made for us, and the tremendous shows and subjects that you've brought around for us. You are just a really, really special human being, and even though from time to time I've had to, didn't have to, I've kind of held you back. You're a very dedicated person to the environment and to this planet, and you know what? There aren't very many really, really good people inside and out like you are, and I wanted to take this opportunity to make that comment.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with Robert Cardoza Live and Robert Cardoza himself. I had fun, bringing on fascinating guests. We've had NASA, and we've had attorneys from the U.S. Those attorneys from the what department is that in the U.S.?
We've had NASA, we've had JPL, we've had SpaceX, we've had all kinds of companies that you've brought on board. Well, anyway, yeah, it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much for the opportunity, and I wish everybody the best and a happy new year. Well, the best to you, all the prosperity that this world can give you. In you know what? Don't. Sorry, U.S. Attorney's Office for Technology. Now, those were some really good subjects. Okay, right. Got it. Do not be a stranger. We love you, honey. Okay, thanks, Robert. All right. Now, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to do the birthdays for today, the secret daily teachings for your life, the Harvard Business Tip of the Day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463.
Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:41 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 53 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in liquid sunny California. It's raining outside right now. But right now, let's talk about the secret daily the Harvard business tip of the day. You know, sometimes I don't even think before I talk. You know, the management tip today is make a graceful exit from conference small talk. That's what you really want to do. Let me tell you all about that. You know, making small talk with a room full of strangers isn't for the faint of heart. So it's understandable when someone clings to the first person they see at a conference. But what if you're the person they cling to? Here's how to get away without hurting their feelings. Introduce them to someone else. If the person has something in common with a colleague of yours, make a friendly introduction, highlight their common interest, and then move on. How about this? Ask who else you should meet. Steer the conversation toward who the person has already met. If they mention someone interesting, ask if they'll make you an introduction. Yeah. And how about this? Level with them. Say, it's been fantastic hearing about your new project, but I should keep moving. One of my goals for the conference is to get better at networking. Great to meet you. Telling them why you're moving on will soften the blow a bit. Yeah, absolutely. That's what you got to be doing. Think about it. It just makes good common sense. Now, let's talk about the secret daily teachings for your life, and I said it all the time, and that is all about a positive mental attitude. You make your world go round. You make good things happen for yourself and everybody around you. So the secret for today is giving is a powerful action to bring more money into your life, because when you are giving, you're saying, I have plenty. Now, it will not be surprising to you to learn that the wealthiest people on the planet are the greatest philanthropists. They give away vast amounts of money, and as they give, by the law of attraction, the universe opens up and floods vast amounts of money back to them, multiplied. Why? Because they seem to know what to do with it. Yeah, makes sense to me. Well, you know what today is, don't you? Sure you do. It's Tuesday, January the 5th. Yeah, 2016. And it's somebody's birthday. Well, you know what? We say this for last because it's kind of an interesting thing. Did you know that this person was born in 1946? A film actress, director, and producer. Her first major role was as Kay Adams Corleone in The Godfather. Happy birthday, Diane Keaton. And here's a guy that everybody's been hearing about lately. He was born in 1975, an actor best known for the roles of Phil in the film The Hangover, Will Tippin in the series Alias, Zachary in Wedding Crashers, and Aiden in Nip and Tuck. Happy birthday, Bradley Cooper. Yes, sir. And finally, here's a guy born in 1978. Actually, a gal, she's an actress most famous for her role as Betty Draper on the television show Mad Men. Happy birthday, January Jones. And how about today in history? You know what? January 5th, 1925, Nellie Taylor Ross of Wyoming becomes the very first female governor in the United States. And in 1933, construction of the Golden Gate Bridge begins in San Francisco Bay. Should I say in the bay or on the bay? I guess, it could be both. It is both, right? Well, in 1940, not that far away, FM radio is demonstrated to the FCC for the very first time, 1940. And in 1972, U.S. President Richard Nixon orders the development of a space shuttle program. Now, did you know that it was him? I'll bet you didn't. Here, the quote for today comes from John Galbraith, and John says, "Humor has no standards. No one can say what is good or bad, although you can be sure that everyone will. You can bet on that. You can just take it to the bank." Well, you know what? It's time for those interesting but useless facts. We've got a number of them. I like this part of the show. Some of this stuff you knew, some of it you didn't know, but it's really very interesting. Did you know that the word cotton originates from the Arabic word kutan? Yeah, I don't know if you care. I don't care. How about this? If you lock your knees while standing long enough, you'll pass out. Wow. You know what? It's interesting. I was watching Survivor on television recently, and that's exactly what happened. As some of the guys were locking their knees up, and one of them passed out. Did you know that state with the highest percentage of people who walk to work? Can you guess? Alaska. Yeah, you wouldn't think so, but that's the one. Did you know that newborn babies have about 350 bones? They gradually merge and disappear until they're about 206. That happens by the age of 5. And did you know the average person laughs about 5 times a day? Isn't it nice to know that there is something to laugh about 5 times a day? Yeah, absolutely. Here's one for you. Did you know a soap bubble is 10,000 times thinner than the average human hair? Now, you got to find that a little interesting, don't you? Sure you do. Let's try this one out. Did you know that your jaw muscle is the most powerful muscle in your entire body? Wow. Give that some thought. I guess it's probably the same with alligators and crocodiles, huh? If you think about it. Did you know that Australia is the only country that is also a continent? There's one for you. If you think about it, it's true. Interesting. How about this? The penguin is the only bird that can't fly, but it can swim. Give that some thought. How about this? Fastidious and abstemious are the only 2 words in the English language that contain the vowels A, E, I, O, and U in their proper order. Give that some thought. Did you know there are 31,557,600 seconds in a year? Yeah. Now, let me leave you with this. The longest single word name of a place on earth is, and I can't pronounce it, but I'll tell you about it. This place is a Maori name for a hill in New Zealand and consists of 85 letters. By the way, the name means the place where Tabatia, the man with the big knees, who slid, climbed, and swallowed mountains, known as Land Eater, played on the flute to his loved one. Now, I can't pronounce what he did, but I can tell you all about it. And let me leave you with this one. If you add up the numbers 1 to 100 consecutively, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, etc., the total is 5,050. There. Gave it to you. Now, don't go away, because when we come back, I'm going to answer your emails. The first one comes from Matt Bonilla from Gloucester Point, Virginia, asking about lost carry forwards. Well, we're in tax season, and that's important to know. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:53 p.m. Pacific time, still 53 degrees and still raining. Animals are lining up 2 by 2 outside the studio here. Now, I want to tell you we're coming down to the wire, time for us to answer your emails. I want to remind you that this is an entertainment part of the show. We do our best to be as comprehensive as we can. It is tax season. We're going to concentrate on tax items for you. But, we always encourage you to check with a licensed professional in your area because sometimes your information comes in just a little bit sketchy, but we still do our best to answer the questions for you. But you know what? A licensed professional is always going to save you more money than they cost you. And you know what? Part of their licensing requirement is that they have errors and omissions insurance. That's the same thing as malpractice insurance. But that does mean that if they give you the wrong advice, they pay, not you. Well, my first email today comes from Matt Bonilla from Gloucester Point, Virginia, and he's asking about loss carry forwards. And he says, here's the thing. 2 spouses have separately owned investments but filed joint returns. Now, one spouse incurs a very large loss, creating a large capital loss carry forward. Before it's used up on their joint returns, that spouse dies. Can the surviving spouse continue to use the loss carry forward in later years? Well, Matt, unfortunately, the answer to your question is no. The IRS position is that only the taxpayer who sustains a loss is entitled to take the deduction. So, when an individual incurs a big loss before marriage or on separately owned investments during the marriage, he or she can deduct a resulting loss carry forward on joint returns during the marriage. But when that spouse dies, the carry forward dies too. The surviving spouse cannot continue to use it on future returns filed as a separate taxpayer. Now, you can go to IRS Revenue Ruling 74-17 if you need more information on that. Next email comes from Malachi Butler from Sterling Heights, Michigan, asking about depreciation recapture, and says, I intend to convert a building that I own to business use and then sell. If I take depreciation deductions for it, I'll have them taxed back to me when I sell the building, and I might be in a higher tax bracket then. Can I forego the depreciation deductions? Well, Malachi, your tax bracket isn't going to matter at all. When you sell a property for a gain, previously deducted depreciation is taxed back, but at a maximum 25% rate. Now, the problem with not deducting the depreciation is that the tax code says gain on property sale is computed, counting depreciation allowed or allowable. So, even if you don't take the deductions, gain is going to be computed as though you had. Now, take note, for property acquired after 1980 and before 1987, special rules are going to apply. So go to IRS Publication 534, Depreciating Property Placed in Service Before 1987, and that'll answer your questions for that. You'll be glad you did that. Not all that difficult. Next email comes from Christy Curran from San Jose, California, asking about cash from overseas, and writes, my parents live in a foreign country and want to make a large gift to me to help me get started here in the United States. Must international payments of more than $10,000 be reported and taxed? Well, here's the thing, Christy. Gifts are not subject to income tax, and the U.S. gift tax does not apply to gifts made by foreigners. So, any gift that you receive will be tax-free. Now, U.S. persons who receive more than $100,000 in a tax year from foreign nationals must report the fact on IRS Form 3520, that's the annual return, to report transactions with foreign trusts and receipt of certain foreign gifts. But this doesn't make the gift taxable. Always keep in mind that the receiver of a gift never pays the tax. It's always the giver of the gift. And if the giver of the gift is not a United States citizen and does not reside in the United States, the gift is not even going to be taxable to them either. So I hope that helps you. Well, last email comes from Emilio De Chua from Boulder, Colorado, asking about stock dividends, and says, I invest through dividend reinvestment programs. We call those DRIPs, by the way. Is it also possible to do so in my IRA? Well, DRIPs are managed by corporate issuers of stock shares. So IRAs administered by banks, brokers, mutual funds, and other such IRA trustees don't permit investments in user-sponsored DRIPs. However, a growing number of corporate DRIPs now have a DRIP IRA option, including those of Walmart, Ford, Verizon, McDonald's, Sears, and ExxonMobil. Each such program holds only its own company stock. So to have a diversified portfolio, you must invest in several different programs. So hopefully that information has helped you. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. We're on every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and we're also on 405 Media Radio Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. And then we're on the Pundit Press, PNN, Talk Radio, and SHR Media Radio with John Matthews and the Conservative Syndicate every Monday and Friday from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Time. I want you to please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Periscope Video, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows, 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. Don't forget, get my app. You can get it for Android and Windows products at googleplay.com. Just search Robert Cardoza Live. It's absolutely free. And if you've got a Windows or a Mac or a iPhone, just go to the iPhone store and, again, search Robert Cardoza Live. The app is right there, and it's free. Would appreciate it. Makes it easy to listen to my shows live, or even all of the archive shows that we have. They're all right there for you, and you can chat with us while we're doing the show. Now, on my next show, Dr. Wireless Joel Saltzman talks about new wireless deals, and Ray Mailer is going to continue his series, The American Grid. Please tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. In the meantime, have a wonderful evening. Stay dry, stay safe, stay happy, and make everybody's life you touch better because of it. Good night, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow.